What's going on YouTube? So over the past few years, Acura has been redesigning or refreshing their entire lineup.
And now it's the turn of the popular RDX, which receives some really significant updates for 2025.
So are these changes enough to level up the RDX in this competitive segment? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so like always, let's go ahead and start things off under the hood. So there's no changes to the powertrains for 2025. That means you continue to have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 272 horsepower. That's paired to super handling all-wheel drive and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Our combined fuel economy comes in at 23 miles per gallon.
Now, of course, we're going to be taking it out for a spin later on in this video. We'll be getting things like our signature sound level reading, and after that, discussing reliability and resale value.
But where the significant changes are is with the exterior as well as the interior. So let's go ahead and get into those. So starting out here with our front design, we do have some updates for 2025. So what you'll notice is the fact that basically Acura likes to keep all their models in line with each other. So similar to what we have with the MDX, we now have this frameless grille here. This is the diamond pentagon grille, but it no longer has the chrome surround no matter which version you choose. What you're looking at today is the advanced trim level. So this is actually like the most luxurious trim level, and it still does get the nice gloss black finish here on the grille. Now in terms of our headlights, these are going to be pretty much the same. So you've got that signature jewel eye LED, you've got your LED turn signal indicator and the chicane shaped daytime running lights. Also advanced and a-spec models will come with LED fog lamps as well. And now that we're down here, this is the other important thing for 2025. Now on the advanced trim only, you have body colored lower fascia, body color lower surrounds, and you'll see that again all around the vehicle. Really, this brings a new dynamic to this model, and again, kind of elevates it and makes it look more luxurious than the other trim levels. Now moving to the rear, you'll continue to see basically some small refinements to that overall look.
Yeah, and I think it's a very handsome looking SUV. We have a spoiler up top, we have a wiper right through here, and then our taillights are going to remain pretty much the same for 2025. So that does mean that we have LED accenting and LED brake light, LED reverse light, but we do still keep the incandescent turn signal. I wish they had updated that this year. And then dropping down to this bumper area, this is where things really start to get different for 2025. Of course, we have the full body color finish. I think that looks a lot better this year. We're also going to have square exhaust outlets. They look really quite nice here on the Advance. You can get circle exhaust on the a-spec models and a 1,500-pound tow rating.
Now moving on to our wheels, of course, no refresh would be complete without some new options. You do have new ones across the trim lineup. Here on the Advanced model, we have a 19-inch alloy wheel. This is a multi-spoke contrast design. I think it looks quite nice. You can also get a larger 20-inch option if you go for the A-spec or the A-spec Advanced trim level. Now moving up here to our mirrors, of course you are going to have standard blind spot monitoring as well as heating. You will also have power folding, and then here on the Advanced trim level, we have auto dimming on both the driver and passenger side.
Now at the side of the RDX, we continue with an overall vehicle length of about 187 inches. And as far as design touches that are also new for 2025, we have 3 new paint colors: Solar Silver, Canyon River Blue Metallic, as well as Urban Gray. Urban Gray is a really popular color. It's kind of that new design. Actually, if you look way over there, you might even be able to see Urban Gray on that new MDX that we're driving this week. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, I'm happy to tell you that you're going to have all of those as standard equipment on every single RDX. You do have a few extra goodies that are thrown in as you go to the higher trim levels, though. But guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior. Let's dive into the refreshed cabin. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now it's time to check out the interior. First, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. Of course, it's got the latest Acura key fob. You have a standard smart entry system. Advanced models will also come with remote start on the fob. Now, getting inside, of course, all you have to do is just reach behind the handle that will unlock the door and fold the mirrors outward. Now, let's take a look at the interior. Just like with the exterior, the changes that Acura made are going to be more like subtle refinements and less in-your-face big design changes. Now, first of all, let's start by talking about our seats as always. Your base trim, that will come with leatherette. However, technology and advanced trims will come with Milano leather. This is a full leather seat, so you can see we've got a beautiful perforated leather running through the center section. Nice color contrast piping that goes through there, and stitching details, that's going to be on the advanced version. And then, of course, you get the ultra suede inserts if you choose one of the a-spec models. Now, as far as the seats, you will have at least 12-way power adjustment on all trim levels. However, the advanced models get 16 ways of adjustment, so you can change things like your bolsters. And then, obviously, you do have memory seats as well. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, when you close up the door, you do get the little sound effect and animation on your gauge cluster. And let's look around at the rest of the materials. So beginning with our door trim, we've got a leather that runs through here with the same color contrast stitching. Same thing for the center section, and you have a soft touch plastic along the top. As we move up to the upper dashboard, this is all going to be a padded plastic. You have more stitched leatherette running through here, and you'll notice a piece of this wood that actually runs into the door trim as well. It's a beautiful open pore wood. I really like this, and this only comes on the advanced trim level since the a-spec models go for a sporty aluminum and suede instead. Down here, we also have more leather for your knee to rest against, and everything does feel nice and solid. Let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. And now that it's all fired up, let's jump right in with some individual features. We begin with the gauge cluster. This hasn't changed for 2025, so those of you wanting the full digital cluster, you're going to be perhaps a little let down. It is just the standard analog setup, which I think looks pretty nice, though. You do have the 7-inch multifunction display right there in the middle. Additionally, on advanced trims and above, you do get that head-up display. Coming back to our steering wheel, we got a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel. It is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. We also do have heating, again, on the advanced and a-spec advanced models. And rain sensing wipers as well. But let's get into one of the biggest interior changes, and that's the fact that they've adjusted this whole center area to be more functional for 2025. So underneath of our revised armrest here, we're going to find some interior storage. And inside of our console, we have some donuts. That, of course, is because here at Car Confections, we put donuts in the center console. That way we can check the volume. And today, this fits in 10 donuts, which is pretty good for this compact class of SUV. Now, up in front of that, you'll notice that we have 2 larger cup holders for 2025. And we also have a much larger wireless phone charging pad. This comes on all but the base trim level, and as you can see, it's really huge, so it can easily accommodate even a large phone like this S24 Ultra. And then finally, wrapping up your interior storage, you retain this really nice and large center pass-through where you can stick all types of things, and you've got some outlets down there as well. Coming up here to the shifter, it is the same electronic push button style, so just press the D for drive, press again for manual shift mode, and you have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. When I pull the R trigger, that's going to pull up a 360 camera if we choose the advanced trim level or above. As you can see, you got the overhead view as well as the traditional backup view with active trajectory. It does not take up the entire display though. And then just press the P for park. Now let's kind of move above here and get into our climate controls. You do have a dual zone automatic setup across the trim lineup. Very simple to use. You've got those nice physical controls all through there. We do also have 3-stage heated seats, and then your top trim levels are going to get 3-stage ventilated seats. Both of these do work automatically as well, syncing with the overall climate system. And then we also have a physical volume knob. So you've got some different audio systems that you can choose between. Here on our top spec model, we do have the 16 speaker ELS premium sound system. Let's go ahead and give that a sample. Well, I've always thought this is a great sound system, and I definitely feel the same for 2025. I know some of the other Acuras have actually moved to a Bang & Olufsen sound system, but you're not missing anything with this. This is a fantastic sound system, and I love the real metal speaker grills over there on the door trims as well. Okay, so let's talk about technology, because this, of course, is very important for anybody's ownership experience with a vehicle, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are wanting to know, what has Acura changed in this regard for the 2025 RDX? Well, they did make one change, but it probably wasn't the change you were hoping they would make specifically, and that's the fact that we now have what is called a new widescreen mode. So previously, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay couldn't take up the whole screen. Over here on this section, you would always have some of the Acura system. Now you can just go ahead and expand that out and make it take up the entire 10.2-inch display, which is the same size this year. Now, what you're probably wondering about, no, this is not a touchscreen for 2025. Unlike the MDX, we have not upgraded to a touchscreen, so you still do need to use the touch pad that's down here in front of the shifter. So you can kind of just scroll here. You can interact with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but it's still, kind of hard to overall move between. Once you go into Acura system, it's a little bit easier since it's designed to work with the touchpad. But as you can see, it's not exactly, the state-of-the-art system. You do have a built-in navigation on board as well. Now taking a look at the mirror here, this is auto-dimming with HomeLink universal remotes built in. One of the things that I really like as a standard feature on the RDX is that it continues to give you a panoramic sunroof with a power sunshade, and the front panel does open up.
Let's go ahead and check out the rear seat area for this RDX. Now, in terms of space, that's not going to change for this refreshed model. So, of course, still the same generation. So we're looking at 38 inches of legroom and 38 inches of headroom. They make it nice and easy on me. 38 even. Now, as far as for someone who's 5'9" like myself, with the seat adjusted to Drew's 5'8" driving position, we are looking at really good space figures. About 9 inches of additional knee room, really impressive. My feet can also slide up underneath of the seat. And speaking of the seat itself, this is going to be the only way that you can, have the vehicle, positioned. So, does it make a noise? Okay. And after the Acura interrupted me, what I was going to say is that the seats do not recline any more than this right here. Now we do also have 2 cup holders built into the armrest. And then here in the center section, you'll find vents. That's going to be standard equipment on every RDX. Additionally, we're going to have heated rear seats. That starts here on the advanced grade, so that's certainly nice. 2 USB-C ports as well. Now, if you turn over to the door trim, you'll notice that it's a nice design. Lots of soft touch plastic, leatherette, metal speaker grills, even here in the back. And very happy to tell you that the bottle storage is big enough to fit the Stanley water bottle. So even if you like to drink a lot, it'll fit nicely in the door trim. Now walking up to the tailgate, we do have a standard power tailgate. We're also going to have the hands-free ability starting here at this advanced trim level and above. Now, as far as the space is concerned in the RDX, you're going to have a good amount of it. As a matter of fact, it's actually going to be sitting at about 29.5 cubic feet behind the second row and about 59 cubic feet as a maximum. Now, Acura has nicely included these handles so you can actually fold the seats from back here in the cargo area. Thank you, Acura, for doing that, and I don't have to actually go up to the second row to fold it down. They do fold 60-40 split folding. And then one of the things we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get our cargo length, width, and height figures. With the seat adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", we're sitting at 75 inches of overall cargo length. From behind the second row of seats, you can expect about 38 inches of length. As far as the cargo width, it is going to be a little bit more on the narrow side, about 42 inches wide. And then let me see how tall it is. My tape measure is, okay, there we go, about 30 inches tall. And then if we lift up the cargo floor, you will find actually quite a bit of extra space under here. So don't forget about using this because that's actually quite a lot. Another storage cubby off to the side and a 12-volt power outlet. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the refreshed Acura RDX. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading. But first, let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
accelerating in this 2025 RDX. Now, like we said at the spec dump, the powertrain isn't changing for 2025, so that means the engine is still a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 272 horsepower. That being said, that was not something that I really wanted to see any changes to per se. We've always really quite liked this engine, and it makes a good partner with this model. The way it feels just kind of driving around town really remains like spunky, I think is the best way to explain it. You know, you really get on it a little bit. You've got a nice amount of torque to push you back in the seat, and just kind of a good responsive feel. It overall feels kind of, I guess, sportier than the average thing in the segment. Now, the other part of this model's spunky powertrain is the transmission, of course. So we've got a 10-speed automatic transmission. Like I said, I think it is tuned, again, to be very nice and responsive. So as soon as you put your foot on the throttle, you do get a nice response. And it just matches with this engine very nicely.
Yeah, and as far as how the power is routed to the ground, it is routed via an SH all-wheel drive system. As you would expect, that's actually standard equipment on every single RDX model. I do also want to just point out, apologize for the rain here. We tried to wrap up this review a little faster so we could not drive in the rain, but Mother Nature had its own plans, so here we are driving it right now.
SH all-wheel drive, of course, is confidence inspiring when you're in inclement weather, like a heavy rain shower here. And of course, also it has performance benefits as well, because it can really redirect the torque to the individual wheels that need the traction, which helps you corner all types of things.
Yeah, and it is raining. However, I do still want to get you the sound level reading. Once again, apologize for the rain, but we'll do our best to make this as accurate as possible by turning it on fan speed 1. Okay, so 58.3 is what we were sitting at. The rain kind of toned down there a little bit at the end. That's actually a really good sound level reading, especially considering the conditions that we are in today. If you want to check out all of our sound level readings, you can do so at carconfections.com/sound level readings. We post all of the cars that we review on this channel, including many past Acura RDXs as well. And honestly, that's not too bad of a reading at all. Of course, we do hope to maybe have one of these sent to us for a 7-day loan, and we can get another reading of this refreshed RDX maybe on a sunny day, even though it's kind of sunny and raining outside right now.
Yeah, I don't know what this weather is.
It's supposed to rain every day this week, so in order to get this review to you guys, we just had to send it one way or the other. And as we're just kind of cruising casually through this neighborhood, I want to discuss ride quality, because this has been an area that I've always liked the RDX, and really Acura has not made any changes this year, which I think is a great thing. When it comes to that, your ride is really, really nice. We are here in the Advanced model, which means that we get adaptive dampers. So if you choose the Advanced or a-spec Advanced, you get the adaptive setup, which really helps you to have ultimate comfort as well as the adaptability. If we were to put it into drive, sport mode or whatever, that would actually allow the vehicle to firm up a lot and give you those sporty characteristics. Although I will say, like this particular, the regular Advanced model is really not focused on the sporty characteristic. It feels extremely comfortable inside this cabin.
Definitely just dials up the throttle response is kind of the main thing that the sport mode is going to be doing. But like Mason said, since you do have adaptive dampers, that's one of the unique things about choosing one of the versions with adaptive dampers, is that you have the variability and it can kind of firm up on a back road. Also pipe in some simulated sound from the engine as well.
All right, let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball. Now, I'll kick us off today by just saying the slam dunk of this RDX is the improvements that they have made to this model. For a vehicle in its 6th model year at this point, I think it still feels pretty fresh, and the reason for that is because Acura continues to update things that buyers are requesting. I particularly really like the body color lower moldings here on this advanced model. It really helps it to look so much more premium than before. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the updates, besides for one thing,
that's the airball.
Yeah.
Touchscreen, just give it to us. We keep asking. Please just give it to us. We know you have it because you put it in the MDX now.
Yeah, we drove the Acura MDX, the refreshed one, to do this review, and it is night and day. It's so much easier to use. Acura, just throw that screen in there, please. Please, please. And as far as a couple last things worth mentioning, you do have a pretty good warranty. It's going to be a 4-year, 50,000 mile basic warranty, 6-year, 70,000 mile powertrain warranty. Additionally, you do get 1 year of complimentary maintenance. That is worth noting because it used to be 2 years, but all 2025 Acura products have been reduced down to 1 year exclusively. Now let's discuss pricing. So thankfully, Acura didn't raise the price too much. About $800 is what you're looking at for most of the trim levels this year. That means you start a touch under $45,000 for the base model. If you go up to the A-spec Advance, that's going to start at $54,450. Now, if you want this particular trim level, the Advanced trim level, we have the 25 Advance. $52,450 is our starting price. We have the optional paint color, $1350 destination, $54,400 as tested today. Now, if you'd like to buy a Acura RDX or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But now let's discuss resale and reliability. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into resale and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up, we'll talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Acura RDX's potential resale. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, we estimate it'll be worth around 50% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 21%. Now, it's worth noting for luxury brands, that is going to be very impressive when it comes to resale value. Lexus is a little bit better, but it's one of the best luxury brands by far and right at industry average for all brands.
And we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources on reliability and combines them in a way that paints a more holistic picture. In this regard, Acura is well above the industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values or reliability data, as well as our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the refreshed 2025 Acura RDX Advance. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. I promise you won't regret it because we're going to make a lot of car reviews in the future, and we already have a ton of car reviews on the channel that I'm sure you're going to want to check out. So go ahead and do that and hit that subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.